Hey guys, MadMickey13 here, and this is the video of my attempt at a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Fire Red using only Pokemon that have appeared in Pokemon Talk. The rules of a Nuzlocke are simple. I can only catch one of each eligible evolutionary line. If a Pokemon faints at any point, it is considered dead and must be permabox, and I cannot overlevel the ace of the next gym leader before the start of the battle. For the three of you who don't know, Pokemon Talk is a web series created by YouTuber M&J and is a talk show featuring hosts Bulbasaur and Squirtle. I'd recommend watching it because 1, it's really good, and 2, I'll be referencing parts of it throughout this video. To make things clear, my definition of appearing means it has been on screen at some point, so no passing references. As for evolutions, I can only evolve a Pokemon if that evolution has appeared on the show. For example, I can catch a Dratini and evolve it, as both Dragonair and Dragonite have been on the show. But while I can catch Zubat, I can't evolve it. That covers everything you need to know except to subscribe. Fire Red Week is still in the works and I'm planning on releasing it in the next few months, so if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. With everything out of the way, let's begin. My journey begins in Pallet Town, where I'm faced with a choice. What starter do I pick? All 3 are allowed, but only 1 can fully evolve. Squirtle. While the host himself only ever made it to Wartortle, his mom was a guest in episode 47, making it the obvious choice. I nicknamed the iconic nickname of Crumpet Boy. Absolute beauty. After smacking down our rival named Raichu, we can begin our journey. On Route 1, I find a Pidgey and name it Bird Jesus, and in Viridian Forest, it takes me about 3.5 minutes at around 9 times speed to find a Pikachu. I name it Irrelevant, a name that will make more sense later. Being the water type that it is, Crumpet Boy manages to one-shot both Geodude and Onix, giving us our first badge. On Route 3, I find a Nidoran male, which is a viable encounter, making a 5-second appearance in episode 56. In Mount Moon, I find a Zubat named Zubatman and a Moonstone, meaning Guard is now a Nidoking before the second gym. In the lower levels, I take the Helix fossil, but that doesn't really matter because I never end up resurrecting it. I begin the Misty fight with Irrelevant OHKOing her Staryu with Thundershock. However, when Starmie comes out, I know I need a different idea. I keep Irrelevant in to use Thunder Wave before switching to Crumpet Boy, who, of course, gets confused after switching in. After a lot of healing, I finally take out the Starmie, earning the second badge. The face-off with rival Raichu on a Nugget Bridge was an easy one. Irrelevant takes out his Pidgeotto, Guard beats his Rattata, and I decide to let Zubatman take out his Abra and his Bulbasaur, as this is one of his only chances to get a kill, because he'll be outclassed a lot later in the game. To save time, from this point forward, I'll only mention the fights with Raichu that matter, as most of the time the worst thing is annoyances with Sleep Powder. I catch an oddish named James and free Bill, who gives me the ticket to the SSN, opening the path to Vermilion. At some point along the way, I'm not quite sure when, I run into a Meowth. At the time, I wasn't 100% sure if it was in the show, but it turns out it was, becoming Squirtle's replacement for a cat in, I believe, episode 34, but I'm too lazy to check. It doesn't end up mattering, as I accidentally kill it. Like with rival fights, from now on I'll only be mentioning important encounters. In Diglett's cave, I obviously find a Psyduck and name it Camkiller, before making my first big mistake. I accidentally evolved James, forgetting that neither Gloom nor Vileplume ever make an appearance on the show. This leaves me with no choice but to release it. Don't worry, I checked through all the footage and I didn't really use it in any battle. It's a Gloom, it's not that good, so the run is still alive. After clearing the worst gym puzzle ever made, like seriously, who thought this was a good idea, I challenged Lieutenant Surge. Camkiller serves as one in-battle purpose, and magnitudes all of Surge's Pokemon down, giving us the 3rd gym badge. I'll still keep him around for 8 gems. Rock Tunnel is an absolute gauntlet and has some trainers that have us outmatched, but what can they do? I say, go ahead, beat up my Pokemon. I don't care. They can be taken to a Pokemon Center, but yours can't. But do you know what I have that's more powerful than free healthcare? Pikachu's image. He's the most famous Pokemon ever. Everybody loves him. People who don't know Pokemon recognize him. No trainer can take that away, and no trainer can stop us. His image makes us invincible, and there is nothing that anybody can do to—
What?
After that display, I buy Crumpet Boy an Ice Beam TM and challenge Erica, where I make easily the biggest mistake of the run. Against Vileplume, Bird Jesus is almost killed, so I switch to Guard, who also gets put to sleep. I'm not paying attention to the damage that Giga Drain is doing, so Guard is killed. While I eventually won, this death was completely preventable in 3 ways. 1. I could have used my eyes and seen the damage that Giga Drain was doing and switch out to a different Pokemon. I had Super Potions and could have used them on Bird Jesus, making the switch to Guard pointless, which is what I ended up doing after Guard's death. 3. There was another encounter I could have gotten. Abra. Alakazam is a valid encounter, being in a bonus episode, and Kadabra at this level could have easily beaten Vileplume. Losing guard here is terrifying, as he's easily the best counter to Giovanni's Kangaskhan. Now that he's dead, I'm in danger of losing even more Pokemon trying to beat it. This is the snowball effect in action, and it is one of the biggest ways that a Nuzlocke is lost. If I want to win, I have to find a way to beat him deathless. I do what I should have done earlier and buy an Abra named Bonus and evolve him into Kadabra. With my current level cap being 43, I can over-level for the Team Rocket fights if necessary. I decide on level 35 for my whole team except for Crumpet Boy and Bird Jesus, who both evolve at level 36. With this power boost, I walk into Giovanni 1 as confident as I can be. His first two Pokemon are 4 times weak to water, so the only thing I have to worry about is his Kangaskhan. Thankfully, Irrelevant can paralyze him and ultimately win with Thunderbolt. We've won, but there's still one more time I have to fight this Kangaskhan, so there still is some risk. Pokemon Tower, aside from catching a Ghastly, and the Silph rival fight were both pretty uneventful, but I do get the gift Lapras in Name It Pop-Up. And just like that, we're back to Giovanni. The only notable parts were an annoying struggle with Rhyhorn and taking out the Kangaskhan in the same way we did last time, avoiding the dreaded Snowball. Before heading to Fuchsia, I buy some valuable TMs and teach them to the team. When we arrive at the Fuchsia gym, Bonus wipes the floor with Koga's Pokemon before heading to Saffron and doing the exact same to Sabrina's team, except her own Alakazam, which I played way too riskily, switching Pop-Up in to Perish Song, then switching to Crumpet Boy to Protect. I did this because in the moment I wasn't sure if Bonus could 1v1 Alakazam, but running some quick calculations after recording, I found out that I could have. It didn't end up mattering, and I beat Sabrina deathless. After surfing to Cinnabar, I was navigating through the Pokemon Mansion when this happened. That could have been terrifying. After finding the secret key, Crumpet Boy is free to absolutely destroy both Blaine's and Giovanni's teams, meaning it's time to prepare for the Elite Four. While I could evolve Disruptor the Eevee into Jolteon as it is slightly better, I've gotten attached to Irrelevant. So here's my final team, leveled up to level 61 to match the level of Lance's Dragonite. Let the final fights begin. Lorelei is up first, and her mostly Water-type team gets destroyed by Irrelevant, with Jinx, the non-Water-type, being beaten by Bonus. Next up is Bruno, which Bonus sweeps, minus the Onixes that Crumpet Boy easily one-shots. With a team that easy to beat, no wonder we don't talk about him. Agatha, the ghost but actually poison trainer, is open season for Bonus, with Gengar beating her Haunter. Against Lance, Pop-Up sweeps most of his team until I make a pretty bad misplay. When he switches in his Aerodactyl, I try to use Irrelevant, who just gets vaporized by a Hyper Beam. I never said that Raichu's image couldn't be taken away. If I had a nickel for every time I've lost a Pokemon with a type advantage against Lance's Aerodactyl to Lance's Aerodactyl throughout my Nuzlockes, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Crumpet Boy was definitely the better option here. Losing Irrelevant means that I've lost my best counter to both Raichu's Pidgeot and Gyarados. But I'm confident in my team, and I know we can win this. Let the final fight begin. Pop-Up easily begins the fight by freezing the wings off of his Pidgeot. I don't exactly remember what Pokemon he sends in next, maybe someone down in the comments can tell me which one it was, but I think Crumpet Boy beat it. Venusaur comes in next, and Bird Jesus can be our Goomy and drag his bloomed bulb straight down to hell. I make up for the Sabrina fight by doing an Alakazam mirror match with Bonus. I mess up pretty hard on the Gyarados, though, forgetting that Ghost is physical. Brief PSA for the kids watching this, in Gens 1 through 3 before the physical special split, the only types that do special damage are the types of all 8 current evolutions plus Dragon. Forgetting this, Gengar gets his already abysmal physical attack lowered, meaning he can't really take on Gyarados, but he does manage to set up a curse before dying, which it succumbs to after a bit of healing. Enjoy your eternal lunch breaks at Chuck E. Cheese, my good friend. Raichu is down to just his Arcanine, and I have the perfect counter for it. So for one last time, Crumpet Boy enters the field and he asks one simple question.
What the f*** happened to the floor?
After one last surf, we've won the battle and the run. I had a lot of fun with this. It's an idea that I've had for 2 years now, so actually being able to do it is amazing. Going from losing at Gym 4 in a throwaway attempt about a year ago to only having 3 deaths makes me realize how far I've come as a Nuzlocker in between. Thank you so much for watching this, and be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is MadMankey13, signing off.